You're now listening to a RattHaus production podcast. For more podcasts like this, head to RattHaus.net.
Well. Another episode for the hunt for the paranormal. God dang, I can't speak.
There you go.
All right, welcome for another episode of Hunt for the Paranormal. I am your host, Mike, and always,
I am Jose.
and special guest / producer.
Slash cynic.
Oh yeah, / cynic.
Skeptic.
Skeptic.
Yeah.
Skeptic. Patrick.
Patrick.
Aaron's not here today for the episode,
Yeah.
so it was supposed to be his side of the origin stories.
Yeah.
We'll tell it. Hunt for the Aaron. Hunt for the shaman.
Hunt for Aaron. Let's go. Fuck. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Bigfoot.
Pata Grandes.
Yeah, Pata Grandes. Pata Peluda Grandes.
Right. So Patrick. So what's your take on Bigfoot?
I think I could believe there's some hairy dude living in the forest.
You believe so?
Sure, why not?
They're called hippies.
Hippies.
No. All right. So honestly, your explanation. What?
I said I could believe it. I don't have a theory.
Oh, why not?
You don't believe the blurry pictures of every single Bigfoot caught?
It's Elvis.
It's fucking Elvis.
Just forgot his bick.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a possibility that a creature of Bigfoot or the Yeti or Sasquatch, we also call him here, in
Or Gigantopithecus.
yeah, that guy.
Shark Squatch.
Shark.
Oh.
Yo.
Or what was the show? Harry and the Hendersons?
Yeah, Harry.
I'm never going to be able to think of Sasquatch again without thinking of Shaq now.
Can you do it?
Sorry, I'll stop interrupting.
Call me the big Aristotle.
They'll go with the Bigfoot.
But this is the thing, you know.
Slut.
You motherfuckers.
Sorry.
I was
No,
going
no, you're
first.
good. But the thing is, like, you fucking bastards.
Kobe.
I'm surprised you even have listeners.
with Kobe and the basketball. Got a little Barkley in there.
That's terrible.
Terrible. That's terrible news. Terrible. He went with the Bigfoot and the basketball. He'd be a good center. All right, but yeah, Bigfoot.
All right, Bigfoot. I think it's plausible because that not only the fact that in North America itself that they talk about Bigfoot, there's also talks about it in Asia, some parts of Europe and South America. I don't know about in Australia.
A lot of indigenous
Yeah.
areas too.
And especially in Australia, they have their own Bigfoot too. So I think it's possible.
There's a big hairy man out there.
Mm-hmm. Very hairy.
Crikey.
There goes our Australian listeners.
It's fine. All one of them.
I know, right? But I don't know. I think it's possible. What do you think, bro?
I think there's a strong chance. I mean, if there's a possibilities that like they once thought that the giant squid was a myth.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way those things can get that big, and all of a sudden they found them. I think it's out there.
Well, it's
they're in their habitat. They know how to hide from people.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the most infamous the film. I think it was like 1960 something.
Well, that one came out to be like a hoax. Like somebody said that eventually the guy came out saying that it was him in a suit.
Well, there's also that they say they have that, but there's the two guys that actually did record it say they actually fucking saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So and then with the publicity of it kind of split them in a sense because there were avid Bigfoot believers also. So I know one was very salty. One guy gained more recognition than the other.
So it's probably the one who said that he was in the suit.
Yeah. So, but even people that I don't even know the kind of specialists they are, but pretty much they do
cryptozoologists.
Not cryptozoologists, but actually do range of motion, like gait walking. Those kind of doctors. They even said it too. It's like by looking at the gait of the creature, it doesn't walk like human. It's the way how it steps and moves his arms.
That's more of a primate type of walk.
Yeah. So,
but then again, they have shown gorillas and other primates and stuff walking on 2 feet, like with their hands there and stuff, you know. But
their gait, but even though they have how they walk,
it's different. They kind of
they waddle. Type thing. So I don't know. We're gonna have a bunch of fucking phonies at the same time. To gain recognition. Like even back in the '70s, there was a company that claimed they had fucking a body of fucking a Bigfoot in a block of ice, and so this one I think a museum paid a shitload of fucking money, like an embarrassing amount of money, and then come to find out it was just a gorilla suit in ice.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't even a gorilla. It was a gorilla suit.
Yeah, it was a gorilla suit in ice.
So they paid for a giant gorilla cube.
Yeah, literally. So
I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing too. But even in Native American lore too, they have stories about the Sasquatch. So
yeah, they do. The thing that really wanted me to that got me into wanting to talk about this even more.
Yeah.
Was on Netflix. They recently released a documentary called Discovering Bigfoot. It's by Todd Standing, starring Todd Standing, and directed by Todd Standing. The quick little description is following Todd Standing, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and other researchers into the wilderness, where they try to capture definitive proof of Sasquatch's existence. Like supposedly this guy, Todd Standings, he ended up getting some of the most convincing footage.
Really?
And I guess what he does, he takes skeptics out to where he knows they're at. Where supposedly he says there's...
Go on.
Yeah. He takes them out to the wilderness.
Yeah.
To where he knows they're at. Like where the most active group are. Because it's not just one or two.
Yeah.
It's like
I think he says there's like 1,500 of a population out there.
So like a pod, pretty much.
Yeah. So they each have their own groups.
Yeah.
You know? So he takes them out there. And he'll like go to a place where he sees like those weird tree standing things where the like cross, it looks like Blair Witch type of stuff. Yeah. Where there's like giant things where like no regular man's gonna be able to pick this thing up and place it there, you know, without other things like ropes and
mechanical means or anything like that. Yeah.
And there's some that are like hanging, like completely floating, just balanced on the pieces of wood.
Oh,
like
shit.
2 feet off the ground, just balancing there, and while the post is going upside down. And there's like the part where the tree is like completely cut off. That part is flipped over, so it's at the highest point.
Yeah.
And it's all this weird stuff, and where they see like the branches that are broken off facing all the same direction. They're looking at every other tree, and they're telling like some of the people like, "What do you like notice?" Like, yeah, this thing, and you know, it's out of the ordinary because like nothing else around here are broken in this way.
Yeah.
And like they even did a test where like a guy tried to break a tree, and he broke one of the smaller ones, but it snapped at the bottom, and it made a big break.
Yeah.
And the only way that they could actually get the break that they did, like that the tree is if they grab it specifically at one point and just bend it. Because they're not completely broken off. They're broken, but they have a little bit still connected. Yeah. Like kind of just bent and broken off. But they're at a point where it's at like...
Takes tremendous amount of strength.
Yeah, but it's at like a 7 or 8 foot height.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. For someone 6 foot to do it, they're still going to have to reach pretty high up there and try to... Like me I'm 6 foot, trying to reach up 2 extra feet and trying to break it at that point without getting any good leverage.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's not possible.
I'll need like a ladder or something, and then there would be proof that there'd be indentations if you're out in the soft dirt.
Oh yeah,
the ladder would sink in. I mean, I'm a big dude, like it's gonna sink in. And I mean, they didn't have just like skinny 6 foot guys. They had like 6 foot guys that are like 230, 240.
Oh shit!
Pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, and these guys were like, I think Todd. I think he said he's like 6'4" or something.
Oh, so he's
a big dude. Yeah. And like he puts his
Todd
foot.
Standing?
Yeah, Todd Standing was standing, and he puts his like footprint inside, like because I guess he was in the military. I think he was like I don't know, some like special forces or something, and he was also like a sniper.
Oh shit! Okay.
And he's also a hunter, so he specializes in tracking. So other like track marks that nobody else can see.
Yeah.
Like he notices them. He's like, yeah, people will just walk by this. He's like, but there's a thing where on the ground you see a small like tidy impression that was there for a while. He's like, but he shows the stick. He's like, this part right here, it's moist, meaning that it was in the dirt, it was covered. So when something stepped on it, it made it pop up.
Yeah.
So then all you see is that part. He said, and it was like further back. Like if you put it here, it fits perfect. And like the moist part actually covers where it's supposed to be and all this shit. Like he just notices all those little tracking things. So he's been tracking them, and he'll see like where he gets usual activity, and he'll leave out apples. And he's like,
and
yeah,
then
they're gone. But he says like there's always like usually 3 or something, and that they're actually pretty smart.
Oh yeah.
He says that like they'll come in like in multiple like angles. You know, one will come straight forward, one will come in the other side, and they'll be making noises. So they'll be like doing like clicking or like doing their howls or growls and stuff. And then if the apple's over here, they're gonna hear that they're coming from. He hears like 2 of them coming towards the apples. Then you hear like a bigger, I guess, male. He says, like you hear it start like growling, making these growling noises and stuff. Starts catching his attention. He's like, because he's like, I known this one to be like more aggressive. So start heading that way, start like yelling and stuff, and then all of a sudden he checks the footage and like the apples are gone. So it's like these 2 came this way to grab the attention, and the other one comes around to the attention. Yeah,
it's pretty much like basic fucking diversion tactics.
Yeah,
like,
that they know this, and he says that they also have watchers out there watching the group.
Oh yeah,
so they have them. They're the ones that most people see.
Yeah,
because they're out there just kind of standing guard, and they'll see or smell like someone or see movement. And all of a sudden, they'll just be watching, and they'll make like a sudden like sound or a growl or something, and it's like a warning to the other group.
Yeah,
you know, to keep them alert so they can either move or get away or do something. So that there's 2 groups that he follows. One is more aggressive, where he stood there and he's had like logs and rocks and stuff thrown at him.
Oh shit!
And like they show some of it in like the videos where like you see this big shadow type of thing like behind a tree because it's like a fucking night vision. And you see this big old thing just kind of there, kind of trying to hide. But then all of a sudden you hear like growling and stuff here. And then from behind, he said he didn't even hear this thing behind him. And all you see is like a giant log being thrown and like it hits him. And he's like, yeah, I got knocked down. I booked it back to my camp. And he's like, they still kept bugging me there. And eventually he had to like, be like, get away. Like trying to make himself like seem bigger. And they just kept throwing rocks and stuff at him. Yeah, they're like, he said like that group won't back down. And the other one is more like timid. Okay. Well, they'll sneak around. They'll be the ones who actually grab the apples more. They'll actually take the food away from them
instead of fucking on a more aggressive approach.
Yeah, because he took one of the skeptics that he took in that same kind of landmark where they had all the branches and stuff all placed in different ways, or not in branches like trees, but they placed fruits like apples and like pears and stuff about 6-7 feet up on the branches. Yeah, all up there, and they came back and all of them were gone, and they find like footprints like leading into the place. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, like like bears have giant claws. If they were here, you'd be able to see them trying to scratching like all this stuff. Like and they're like, there's nothing there. Like if any other animal would have been there, like typical small critters. If they're gonna come up and get the apples, they're gonna be biting. You're gonna find crumbs or things all around. If they bite into an apple or a pear, those are juicy fruits. So you're gonna see
some residue.
Juicy fruit. Yeah, you're gonna see like some of the juices and stuff. Yeah, so all that stuff, and they're like, what? They ask us, well, what could have possibly taken this? Like, well, apparently something on that's able to stand on 2 legs and actually grab and just collect them and take off. Yeah, he's like, I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot because there's still no definitive proof, but something that was standing.
There's a bipod fucking creature that fucking able to do that.
Yeah. And he says that the hard part about getting actual good footprints of like Bigfoot out there is really hard, just because like you'll be able to see the indentation, but a lot of it is in moss.
Yeah,
so you can't see like all that stuff. But they'll take a step. Like he did a test where there's a big footprint on the ground, and he's like, all right, well, go next to it and take a step and like dig in as hard as you can. And he took a step and like you could see the indentation. He's like, all right, now like do it again, see the difference there, and I'll take a step in the Bigfoot one, and you see his foot going in a lot. He's like, well, yeah, something definitely stepped here with a lot of weight, a lot of pressure to make a big indentation where most of his foot went into the print. Fuck. And all this stuff, yeah. And he's like, we were putting this stuff here, checking before. We did not touch this area, so we know none of us walked in through this area. and all that shit. It's a crazy documentary. It's called Discovering Bigfoot on Netflix.
I need to check it out. Are you gonna watch it, Patrick?
Yeah, actually,
Came
I
out
am.
in 2017.
Now you're actually
It's an hour
intrigued.
and 50 minutes.
That's not
Sweet,
bad.
I can knock that in 5
Yeah,
minutes.
there's another one on. There's another one on here just called Bigfoot. This one from 1997. So that one talks more about wildlife cameraman John Waters travels to the forest of the Pacific Northwest in search of the elusive cryptozoological specimen known as Bigfoot. But I watched both. Discovering Bigfoot is a lot more interesting.
More legit, you
Yeah.
feel?
And they show like some of his footage where you're like, I don't see anything, and then all of a sudden, like in the bottom right hand corner, you just see like this crazy like monkey type humanoid face just like staring back, like Planet of the Apes type of thing.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and you see him like kind of like blending in with like the brush and everything, and they're just like standing there, kind of just watching. He's like, yeah, these are the watchers. Like they just stand around, make sure to see what the hell you're doing, you know. And he said that he gets smart because he's like you know, hunters, they watch the routine of what they're hunting, of what they're doing.
So you gotta change up your tactics.
he would start doing this. He'd do the same kind of thing. You know, this would happen, so then I'd go. And they knew my route. And, you know, on one of them, he's going, and then he just fucking stops because he knew they were following, and he just stops there, and that's when he got some of like the footage that he got and stuff.
Well, it makes sense. Like, I know on this aspect, you think the theory, well, not the theory, the study of cryptozoology is going to be more, I don't know, taking it a little bit more serious on the mainstream public, because, but even though I haven't watched this documentary enough, but I actually take your word. What you say, this seems like fucking legit
like,
to an
like,
extent.
mind you know how when people go out and searching for these things, they go out in like regular clothing, maybe
Yeah.
like, you know, regular t-shirts. No, this guy goes in a fucking like ghillie suit type of thing.
Fuck yeah.
He'll like have that stuff covered because, you know, he was a sniper,
Yeah.
so he knows about camouflage.
Yeah.
So you'll see him just hiding, and all of a sudden he pops up like it's in snow, and he's just covered, just packed a bunch of like snow stuff on him. He's just covered completely like stealth, just like, what, dude? I didn't even see that you were there. Like, what the hell?
But that's the thing too. That I
So
think,
he'll try to camouflage himself from these guys so they can't see him, so he can see them.
well, it makes sense to do that because granted, yeah, they're a fucking giant, fucking humanoid, fucking creature,
Yeah.
mammal, and why not fucking be camouflaged? Because most of these people, they don't fucking go camouflage. They just fucking wear fucking khakis, fucking hiking boots, and and a fucking hiking stick.
And you know, like, you know, the whole thing with hunting is, which I'm sure he knows about too, is you have to stay downwind.
Oh yeah,
You know, keep away from that. But I guess with those, you kind of want them to know you're there.
Yeah.
So that
That
when
they
they
can
do follow him,
investigate.
so they do follow, and you know, taking the same route constantly, and all of a sudden switching it up. Like, well, he should be here. Well, where did he go?
He's like, what
then
the
he's just
fuck?
hiding. He's like laying there hiding and stuff, and that's when he starts getting some good footage. Because he said that there's some points at like night where like some of them, the aggressive like group, they were like within like maybe 10 feet.
oh shit.
Yeah, like 3 meters or something like that of him. He's like, what the hell? And he said that's the one time that he got really scared. He's just because like you can hear. I don't know if it was. I can't say this at 100%.
Yeah.
No, but just hearing the growls, like, type of fucking crazy
Yeah.
shit going on, and I'm like, dude, even if that wasn't that, but if it was like a bear and you hear it growling like that loud, like a few meters away from you, you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah.
get away. Like, he said he just felt like really like, what the fuck? Like, these guys are pushing it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing he can do if these things can break a branch. Just
It's like
you know,
like nothing.
could
Well, the thing
imagine
too.
fat fucking trees like this fucking big, and they're just snapping it.
I don't know,
Nothing you do to you.
even kind of think about it too, because a bear doesn't make that many sounds, and because even actually zoologists, people even say it to like a good prime example. A dog can make, if I remember correctly, 32 different sounds, right? A cat can make over 1,000. So it's like or like the alligator only makes, I think, like 10
Yeah.
different sounds. So and and he's a hunter, so and he can distinguish how a fucking bear sounds, and
yeah.
especially in that area there is brown bear country.
Yeah.
So he'll know.
'Cause I think he's
difference.
in the like Northwest and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
you know, Seattle, Oregon type places, and like, you know, Montana.
Yeah.
Fucking up in Canada, where I don't know those places in Canada.
Yeah.
But I don't know those provinces,
But
but they're there.
you can have a
So he
prominent.
searches all that area.
Yeah. So he's going to be already extensive with what kind of wildlife there
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
So, because like even a fucking puma, cougar, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they make their own distinct noise, and you know what it is. And so it's like, if it's like a fucking dark bellowing fucking almost sounds like close to like a fucking gorilla, and a gorilla definitely did not belong in that kind of fucking area.
Like I was listening to a show, and this one guy was talking about, like, he's an actual hunter. You know, he goes hunts like deer and elk and moose and all that stuff. He said he was just watching this moose just going, and he saw a bear just running up to this thing, and he's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "Oh my god, it's gonna get it!" And without batting an eye, this bear like swung and hit this moose in the back, and that thing just dropped.
Oh yeah,
like broke its back and just started just devouring this thing.
Oh dude,
it's like, dude, the power a bear has just to smack this thing in a moose. You need a ladder to like get up on its back. You just smack it, break its back, and it just dropped. He's like, it hit like if somebody just shot it clear in the fucking heart. Just bop.
Well, it's like even like mountain lions or cougars, pumas, where there's one fucking animal. Sorry, quick rant. One fucking animal has like 32 fucking different names. It's like
it's a mountain lion.
Yeah, the mountain lion, puma, cougar, fucking warthog, red versus blue. But like I even seen because they're also ambush hunters too, and as pretty much our table, right, a log that quick, and it's like a fucking deer here and the fucking cougar right here, right, fucking mid sprint, thing fucking tackled it, and you actually see the log just crack.
Oh yeah,
I was like
brutal.
I was
when
like,
they're in attack mode, there's no stopping it.
But I don't know. I think for on the Bigfoot aspect by people that actually make claims of it is like either people like him that actually get down in the nitty gritty about it.
I mean, it seems like he does that. Like he's been doing it for years.
Yeah. Or even hunters, because fucking hunters tend to see a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, that you don't notice.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't step there. There's a track. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah. You don't see how there's some minor indentations in the grass leading this way.
Yeah.
And then, like, no. Like, watch. Look at it. Like, when you take a minor step, even when you just graze over it, the grass is going to move in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
No, or even
I
a fucking,
don't notice this.
or even a sniper, too. Like, aspects is they fucking... They are taught the art of fucking camouflage
Because they are hunters.
Yeah, they are hunters, and they even said it's like if you put crab on your ghillie suit, it has to look on like in nature itself,
and it can't just look like the stuff you're looking at. It has to match the stuff in the back
too. So say you had a fucking twig, if you want to go with twig, and the twig is fucking pointing at the wrong way, and then when the wind blows and it's not flowing where it should be, you're fucking dead.
He also caught a Bigfoot, well, on camera, but on a thermal camera, on a tree, just hanging up there, just like kind of looked like it was just looking around.
The trees are big over in those areas too.
So maybe I'm thinking like maybe that Bigfoot jumped up there since they couldn't find him at first, and he was up there just trying to get the high ground, just trying to look.
Anakin.
Don't do it, Todd. I got the high ground.
Shundon. Hundred.
Todd standing.
Right. So I don't know.
It was a really good.
High enough.
It was a really good documentary.
I gotta check it
out.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna watch it again.
Shit. I don't know. You got any input, Patrick?
On Bigfoot.
On Bigfoot?
Stuff makes more sense to me than any other stuff.
Than the paranormal
just
stuff?
Because like I think there's so much undiscovered left on this planet.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially in the oceans. But
Want me to play a
some
little?
of these
like,
forests are so dense that like we really think we know everything that lives in there. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could totally believe there's something out there.
Well, it's like Jose mentioned earlier, is that we thought the fucking the giant squid was a fucking myth, and now we're like hentai
now
all
it's there.
over.
Can you turn this channel on? I think it might be 6. I turn it on a little bit. Play a little clip of it so you guys can see some of it.
I mean here.
Yeah. Well,
The appearance
There we go.
that Todd is convinced represent a boundary marker or some sort of effort to communicate the presence of Sasquatch in this particular region.
Shit.
Another thing I do love about these structures too is they're generally like this, where you can see I don't have any nails. Look at the damage I just did to that.
with gloves.
If I was a bear, and I put my claws on this, you'd see tremendous marks. And there's really zero indication. And with me having been out here and had 5 successful gifts taken, there's just no indication of any bears of any kind. So putting apples on it is my way of saying, I know you guys are here. I'm here for you. Here's a gift. I think that's just a basic little simple communication I can do. So anyways, well, let's have a look around here and see what we can see.
Yeah, so he does like stuff like that. So he actually looks at like every little thing, every little minor detail, and it's pretty amazing. I think like how he does it.
Yeah, I think you should.
You guys would really enjoy that one.
Like personally, I think you should.
Skeptic or not.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I might start it tonight.
Yeah, it's good. Don't watch just half though.
You know how I do.
But no, but
2019.
honestly,
I watched the other half. It's great.
Right. But no, it's true. But I think like for any creature like on the crypto aspect, you have to look at every minor details of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The only one from out of the cryptozoology aspect creatures, the only one I still believe is still fucking make believe, but maybe plausible, but it's kind of fucking really far fetched. Is fucking the Loch Ness monster.
Loch Ness.
Nessie.
Yeah, it just because there's so many things in water anyway that could be a possibility of what it was. Maybe a log. Well,
yeah, because obviously
maybe just like a rip current or something.
Yeah, because like obviously people say it's a it has to be related to the plesiosaur, which is, if you guys don't know,
it's like just a giant long neck platypus.
Yeah, that eats fish. So
yeah.
And one living for millions and millions of millennia, pretty much. And then somehow, which don't get me wrong, evolution will take its course.
Yeah,
and
I
maybe,
mean, what if it's just reproducing? I mean, what if they're not as big as they say they are? You know, because sometimes you do tend to exaggerate something when you see it and you're startled, like, what the hell? And it looked this big, and all of a sudden your story could be like, oh yeah, you know, this thing looked like it was 7 feet, and all of a sudden it's 200 feet long. You're like, whoa.
Then, but here's also the same concept, because evolution will take its course, you know, because obviously that lake used to be, at one point was linked to the ocean, and obviously over years it fucking closed off, right? So there is that possibility that evolution took its course, and pretty much stressed the animal enough to make it become smaller.
Yeah.
So
what about like a freshwater eel?
But there's no records of a freshwater eel being that big, though.
I'm sure there is. I mean,
I think because for my understanding, like, I think that
they can get huge.
Well, I'm saying, but I think like so far on record, the biggest freshwater eel that we have is the electric eel.
Mm-hmm. Well, you never know.
Yeah, well, that's true.
No, I mean, like, you never know. Like, it could be in there. But
it could be a possibility.
It just adapted.
But then again,
like
also the downside in that lake as well. The water is very murky. You can't see shit. So it's like,
it's all just mud.
Yeah, pretty much. It's mud.
There's mud down there.
So
I mean, anything could hide down there.
Oh
anything.
Yeah. Well, but on the same, like, the shock factor, because they even found like the whole same concept of the pygmy people, and they actually found skeleton remains of pygmy elephants.
Yeah, little tiny things.
Yeah. So.
But then again, what if they're just baby elephants?
Then that's the same thing too. Yeah. So it's all speculation, right?
No. But I think the thing with the pygmy people is that they actually did examine the bones, and they had like the joints and everything of adult humans.
Yeah.
But just tiny forms.
So
yeah, everything was to spec. So they weren't like dwarves, and they're just actual little people.
Interesting.
Which I think that's how the concept of leprechauns and duendes and all that stuff
came from.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna go with like 95% that Bigfoot is plausible and real.
What's your percentage on Loch Ness?
I'm gonna go with 50.
50. All right.
Nah, with Nessie, I'll probably have to go lower. I'll probably say like 30% that he's real.
You know, okay, that makes more logical. I'm trying to be.
You're trying to be
biased,
less of a skeptic.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. No. But okay. And
until I see like more proof.
And real proof, if you want my honest true fact, like 25%.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Nessie being real.
There's only been a few people compared to like the people who've seen like the bipedal primates walking and stuff. There's been more people who see that than there have been who've seen Nessie.
That's true. So
And the weird thing is how it's in the Northwest and in Asia. So it's like, dude, when they're all connected, they're right there. So it makes sense that they were in that same area, you know?
well, not only that too. Even Australia has theirs. Oh, and I forgot what they call them, but Australia also has it, and also South America.
We call them big hairy fuckers.
Yes, big fairy cunts.
You guys like to hear about the time I met the Loch Ness Monster?
Yes. Please tell.
Oh, it must have been about 7-8 years ago. Me and the little lady was out on a boat, you see, all alone at night. When all of a sudden, this huge creature, this giant crustacean from the Paleolithic era, comes out of the water. It stood above us, looking down with these big red eyes, and I yelled at it, "What do you want from us, monster?" And the monster bent down and said, "I need about $350."
Fucking knew it.
I guess that's a good way to end it.
It is. I dig it.
Unless we got any more to talk about.
There's actually a lot to talk about Bigfoot, but for the most part,
I don't know. We just jumped on this episode to kind of a little.
Well, supposedly there's proof of the Yeti in Asia.
Yeah.
Supposedly one of the monks, they like have like some of it or something like that.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
Some shit like
yeah.
that. They actually, did you ever hear about that?
No.
Yeah, some
Enlighten
monks
me.
actually have, because they like
Buddhist monks.
Yeah, they have it
It
as like
must
a
be
sacred
true.
as a sacred creature out there. But a lot of people claim to be like climbing up the mountains and all this stuff, and a lot of them say they have seen this thing or at least heard it, like fucking doing its yell and all that stuff. So who knows?
I'm intrigued.
Are you
Let's
gonna
get
go-
Todd Standing out there. For
But
his
I
sequel.
think I believe more in the Bigfoot living in the Northwest, just because it is more a wooded area. It's more secluded, especially up like towards Canada and stuff. Than I think anything possibly living out in the mountains, which it's possible, but it's a lot harder to do. There's less food and stuff out there for it to eat.
Well, up in the Himalaya areas, dude, but you have the fucking the snow leopard that lives up there, and they're very, very elusive cats.
True.
So
I mean, then again, you know,
You
I'm
do
sure
have-
they blend with their surroundings, so they're always white or grayish.
yeah, but
Great with
there
black.
are very abundant fucking mountain goats up there.
Yeah.
But I think, you know what I really think this Yeti is? Fucking Tauntaun.
It is.
I would believe that. I'm in.
Anything paranormal can always be tied to the wars.
It's the walls.
The Star Wars. I believe in Star Wars.
I do too.
We're gonna hunt for it. A long time
be on
ago,
that
but yet somehow in the future. I think that's a good spot to.
I'm down with that.
Let us know if you believe in
Yeah.
the Bigfoot.
Yeah, hit us up on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You guys already know what it is, damn it. Cause
You know what it is.
Get
but
a
don't
shirt.
forget
Get a
our
shirt.
shirts. Got Sage shirt. I think that's like one of my personal favorites. We got like a haunted house looking one.
I think we need to make a Bigfoot shirt.
I think we need to make a Bigfoot shirt.
Right?
Don't we have
I think we should.
Got Yeti.
got
Got
Yeti?
Oh, I like it.
And put them in like in fucking.
I love my BF, my Bigfoot. I'm gonna be working on these.
That's gonna be fucking dope. All right, guys.
I
Well,
believe in BF.
this is Mike.
Jose.
And this is Patrick. And don't forget that juicy fruit is going to move you.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening for the Hump for the Paranormal. Latest.